surging crowd. Crack 'em if you got 'em, let the roar be loud. Three crazy Canucks hype the surging crowd.
What a fun ordeal.
Post Malone edition.
Second time being here.
So we're not like the cameraman right now who's had Raising Cane's 45 times. This is only our second time having it.
Yeah.
We weren't too fond of it the first time.
No, I didn't. I wasn't wanting to come back, but then of course, you know, this is the Post Malone, Dallas Cowboys inspired Raising Cane's. We saw some other Cowboys fans in here as well. It was quite busy, and so had to come back. Wasn't expecting much, but I have to say, 100% better.
100% better.
I would say probably the first experience was like a 5, just average.
Yeah.
No reason to come back. This one, 7. I'd come back.
Do you think we were biased because it was to do with the Cowboys and stuff?
Yeah, I definitely made it taste better. But I was a little upset because I did get my sticker with my meal, but I only got one piece of that Texas toast or whatever the hell it is, and you guys got 2.
I had two.
Adam did give me half of his.
If you're flying into Dallas Love and you want to catch a Cowboys game, before you hit up your hotel, I highly recommend checking out the Post Malone Raising Cane's in Frisco, Texas.
Frisco, Tesla.
I'm not going to say I'm a Raising Cane aficionado, but when I'm in Dallas, Texas, I have to come to the Cowboys branded, Post Malone branded Raising Cane's. Did I like it a little bit better because it was posty? Probably. But I like the Texas toast, I like the chicken fingers, and I like the Raising Cane sauce, baby. Hey, what are you doing right now?
Watching the video.
What are you doing right now? Watching our video or watching your video?
I went for a 94-year-old lady. I was supposed to have sex with her in these bushes.
Okay. Yeah, we're leaving. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so we just got talked to by the Raising Cane's management saying that we weren't allowed to film if we were professionals.
Thank you for that compliment.
But Raising Cane's, I'm gonna have to dock you down a little bit.
You've been docked.
You've been docked. We said 7 out of 10. Now my experience is brought down to a solid 3.
Whoa.
You don't come at my boy.
One job.
You don't come at my boy.
There he goes.
Cross him off the list! Cross him off the fucking list!
But the Cowboys obviously didn't want him because they knew, like, if you're trading
They
back
traded back.
every single trade was a street shot.
Here we go! Shoot him if you boot him.
Oh, what a rush!
I know they're getting a lot of awesome content. They're getting fired up, getting ready. We're still a few picks away. Big shout out to all you Cowboys fans. And they said no Brady rules applies.
No!
Guyton!
He's not on your board.
Guyton!
I said this to Deffy. I was like, if anybody got picked, any offensive lineman that would be upset about it'd be Tyler Guyton. Be happy about that. We got a starter.
Yeah.
We got a starter, and we got a day 2 pick.
Hey, Tyler Guyton, welcome to the team!
Boost me up a little bit more than that. Okay, that's good there, AJ.
That was Eric, BOTG, Bot G.
Time to pay the hyper here.
Get
We're
this
about,
monkey suit off. Come on.
what are we doing here? We fucking got Guyton and we're fucking wearing suits still? What the f is this bullshit? Hey!
Paying the bills.
Cracker, we go.
Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs. 20,000 subs, thanks to the nation. You got our back like we eggs and bacon. Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. That be our war cry. Shotgun, screech shots, boosting every stream live. Thank you, Confana Maniacs. We do this cause we know you got our back. 20K milestone, all because of you. Big shout out fam from the Cam Fan crew. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs, now let's go get that dub. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs, now let's go get that dub. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs, now let's go get that dub. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs, now let's go get that dub. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs.
Where the fuck is he standing? Wide the fuck open!
Thank you, Maniacs.
How was he wide open?
20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs. 20,000 subs, thanks to the nation. You got our back like we eggs and bacon. Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. That be our war cry. Shotgun, screech shots, boosting every stream live. Thank you, Confana Maniacs. We do this cause we know you got our back. 20K milestone, all because of you. Big shout out fam from the Cam Fan crew. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs, now let's go get that dub. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs, now let's go get that dub. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs, now let's go get that dub. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs, now let's go get that dub. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs. Thank you, Maniacs, for 20,000 subs. Thank you, Maniacs.
Come on, man, listen to man. Shout out to Canada, man. Shout out to the whole Cowboys Can fam. You feel what I'm saying, man? We're in the building, we're doing big things, and big things popping, little things stopping. We outside, worldwide. It ain't been stepped on.
Now the party's getting started, baby!
30 minutes. So you guys can load up right now for $4 or $5 a drink.
Nice.
$5 a drink. Oh! Why didn't you call my middle name, son?
We're here to kick ass on this happy hour. We're gonna have to draft them if you got them, right? Draft them if you got them. Let's go.
Show call, baby!
What's up, baby? How you doing, brother? I'm good. Okay, come.
What's up, man? Puro pinche Cowboys!
Let's go. Point to the lips. Raise it if you will. Come on, crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
That was Vegas 2022.
2032, baby! Las Vegas! Let's go! Vegas! So those are the 4 top stadiums for Super Cowboy, baby.
I love it. Put your hand out.
Oh, yeah. But you gotta look up so people can think someone else is pouring it.
That's it.
We will get naked for money.
Naked for money!
Super Cowboy said when we're in Texas, we have to have a shiner beer. So he bought us a brown, fellas. Get him up.
Let's go! We are El Destino, Cowboy Camp fans right here, man. We're doing our thing, getting ready. Thanksgiving, we beating them damn Giants. That's what's happening for real. Let's go.
We're like giant pussies.
I'm gonna guess the sizes.
Well, I think it should be pretty easy to guess. Medium.
Oh shit, large. Who's a medium?
Doing our thing. Hey, much love to you guys. Keep doing your thing, baby. Happy Thanksgiving. Nothing but blessings. Let's go.
Beat the Cowboy, baby. Woo! Let's go!
Take it? Okay. All right.
Get it in your son, get it in your. Raise a toast and let it spin. Your Cowboys fans are the best in the world, and Eagles fans are dirty words. Watch the Eagles! Eagles fans are dirty words. Recovered a fumble, chug a beer, defensive interception. Chug a beer. If that pick does go for 6, get a screenshot in your kid. Then be the rules, then bend the rules for years. Get it in your son, get it in your. Raise a toast and let it spin. Your Cowboys fans are the best in the world, and Eagles fans are dirty words. Dirty words. Fuck the Eagles! Snow is falling, folks are balling.
Hey!
Old man Jones.
Shout out to all you guys out there listening right now and just having a great Christmas with Ken, man.
Here at live at Levi Stadium, Niner territory, enemy territory. We're gonna go ask around. Because I don't know about you, but I get this whiff of hate. So we're going to ask everybody, why do they hate the Cowboys so much?
This is Niners land, territory. They were telling me that I was a piece of shit when I was walking through there.
Why do you hate the Cowboys so much? I don't hate, because there ain't no hater bone in my motherfucking body. Oh, I did not expect that. He might be the only one.
Although he sounded very angry.
We're coming in. Come on. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Nobody. Come this way. The Cowboys so much. I mean, I tell you what was the question? Why do you hate the Cowboys so much?
Hey, man.
Hold on.
We don't hate. We just don't like.
They don't hate. He's the cool guy. He's down. Yeah.
I like that one. I kind of like that one. It feels like we should be racing for pink slips. I feel like Paul Walker.
It's just
Still alive, but Paul Walker.
I feel like it's still more of a Batman one.
Well, you're feeling. I was feeling like Fast and the Furious. Okay, you're feeling Batman.
I was feeling Mission Impossible. I could see Tom Cruise run into this.
Okay, yes, I see Mission Impossible. Maybe my Fast and Furious wasn't a
Fast
great
and
one.
Furious works. I mean, they're all the same movie. We're talking about the same movie.
Christian Bale and all of them.
So
Crack 'em
if
you got it. Did the tag get or the what do you call that? Is that a tag? What are they called?
Tab.
Tab. Did Tab get caught?
A little bit.
Here, let's do an adult one. Crack him if you got him, son.
Oh.
That's get the trifecta. Ooh.
Crack 'em if you got 'em.
I hate to say it, but I think AJ's was the best.
Yeah,
mine,
totally
mine still
was.
had a little bit of a ads fizzled out. Mine was a 2-parter, and AJ's was crisp.
And
So we got it right by the end of it.
I brought that Krispy Kreme, baby.
Do you have a Krispy Kreme? Is that the new flavor? Krispy Kreme drip. That would be good.
I don't know.
What is a Krispy Kreme flavor, anyways?
Fucking sugar and
Just
dough.
sugar, just
Sugar
glaze,
and dough.
just glaze,
Straight glaze.
glaze
Straight
and dough.
glaze.
You open it up, you're just like this. Like,
Quick, yeah, it's just thick.
It's thick.
It's glazy,
But it is 47% alcohol because
yeah, 47%
It's concentrated. Yep.
glazy donut juice. We're back on Wednesday night, fellas. Last week we did a Tuesday night edition. It was Tuesday last week we did it, right? On Tuesday night edition.
Yep.
So it's felt to me, the off season's weird. It's felt like a bit that I've seen you guys since I've been in studio.
that's true.
It's been a minute, and it feels good to be back. I'll say that.
It was an extra day since the last time we did a show.
And then
because-
even that, so 2 weeks since I've been here sitting on this couch,
yeah.
sweating, but I'm back. Summertime. And it's the first official show of summer and the first official show of Ad Best being BW1 being 41.
That's right.
41.
The birthday boy yesterday.
41.
41, and he's wearing his learn ball
I
shirt.
have to. I mean, I'm at no time like the present to learn ball, right?
So I know we've exchanged gifts in past situations. I gave you a gift card because you and AJ like to go on movie dates. So I got you a gift card for movies.
Thank you.
But don't you buy that little slut over there any popcorn?
No, I don't go near his ceremoniously.
I got
a system.
I got kind of like a very particular thing. I have my crew that I like to go to who I know will butter our popcorn well. And that's really the only benefit of coming to the movie with me is
He knows. Well, the last movie we went and saw 28 days later or 28 years later last week. And I got AJ to pick me up because I wanted to smoke some herb.
Did you?
And he didn't even have any weed with him. I was like, this is like the first time I've ever been
There
around
was
you with
confusion.
no weed.
Weird.
There was confusion.
That is strange.
Adam, I would have brought it, but it would have been my pipe because I didn't have.
And that would have comatose him.
No, well, perhaps I don't know. I mean, but
maybe.
I thought in Adam's message, I thought he was saying that he was bringing weed. I can't remember what the message said, but the way that I read it, I thought he said,
I think I said, AJ, do you got ganja? And he goes, okay.
yeah, and I think that's what you wrote, but I read like AJ, I'm bringing ganja.
I'm getting you fucking lifted.
And so I was like, okay, I won't bring mine. And then, but here's the thing: there's a weed place right by the theater.
No,
You bitched out. You bitched out. You didn't even go. But he's right.
I messaged him when he was out front of my house.
How many drips did you slam before the movie?
He slammed 2. I didn't slam any.
So I probably just quickly looked. So I said, I'm here.
Yep.
And then you
I'm
wrote,
here.
AJ, you got weed. And then I read that as I'm just
here.
grabbing weed or something. Like whatever the words were, I didn't read. I just read weed.
Just left the
And it's
thumbs
like,
up.
okay.
All
Yeah,
right, we're
that sounds
back.
good.
Hey, but back to the original thing. We're back on Wednesday night. Can Fan Crew is here. We have a guest tonight. Special guest. He's running a little bit late from work, but he will be on. I'm not going to drop the name. But a very respected member of the Cowboys Nation, and I'm excited to talk to him about all the stuff that's happened since we last talked to him. I don't think we chatted with him since the draft, just before the draft, so it'll be good to get some of his opinions on some of the stuff that's happened in the offseason, maybe get a new viewpoint than any of us has. But we're back talking Cowboys Nation, Cowboys news. Anything crazy while we're waiting for our guest to get here? I know that the Cowboys schedule preseason that dropped earlier, but the Cowboys training camp schedule did drop recently this week. And the last 2 seasons, we've went down to Oxnard, California to participate in the training camp. We got invited down there by Visit Oxnard, and they kind of put us up, gave us some good spots. I don't know if we're going down there this year, but it's exciting to know that the dates are dropped now, and we're months away, not even months, month and a half away from Cowboys football, fellas.
And if we don't go down, I wonder if we get our welcome rescinded.
Oof. Well, but we'll have boots on the ground there. So that's the thing. So we've already chatted with Bot G, Boots, Eric on the ground there. He will be there. So if I'm going to reach out to Visit Oxnard at some point and see if they want to collab again. But anyways, in a roundabout way, we're here and we're talking Cowboys football.
We're here.
We're here.
But look, because you got to give Adam a present, and then you just kind of moved on.
Oh, okay. I like it. I didn't know. I didn't know if you came here yesterday for cake. That's why
I did not.
Okay, so we both ditched.
It's funny because I don't even think he got invited because I
didn't
said,
get
ask
invited.
Linz. I said, oh, is Alex coming? She's like, I didn't ask him.
She sent me.
Yeah.
She sent it to me, and I was like, sounds good. And then I didn't come.
Yeah.
Good thing you didn't because after we cut up all the ice cream cake, there was only one slice left.
Oh,
Could
really?
have been yours
Could have been mine or AJ's.
or
I would've-
AJ's.
I
if he
would
was
have
invited.
What did I even do yesterday?
Probably just sat around, right?
Just thought about going to the movies. Elio.
Probably
but I was
drove
like,
somewhere
oh.
with weed.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I
Oh.
got. Well, Adam, I got a.
Shit.
It's not really a gift if I got Ant this.
Yes,
Ant
I'm
one
getting a
too.
birthday gift. Yeah, babe. I was wondering you rolled in with this, and I was kind of mad. Nice.
But
That's sick.
Adam, you don't have to pay me back. Ant, you have to pay me back double for both of yours. Okay, for both yours and Adam's.
And this was like I was gonna say.
Just kidding.
Ad actually is gonna pay for both of these because he got my Boost shirt last time because I was too fat for the shirt he got. So look
That's
at this.
right.
This is called a freebie right there.
That's right.
This is
Oh
a
yeah, well there you go.
this is a sweet shirt.
The
CWO.
which I'm wearing right now. CanFan World
All
Order.
right. 2XL. God,
It
that's
took me.
hard to look
It
at.
took me like honestly, probably 2 hours to get the design to work because, long story short, obviously the original design is not the best, and then you gotta erase things. And I'm not the best designer, but
I like the placement.
I
I like it. I like the placement. It's a good-
Placement's good. I
It looks
did. I
good.
went lower than I thought, and it
yeah,
seemed to
it's
work.
perfect.
Out, so-
Hey, go lower than you thought. That's the thing.
The trick with you, AJ, when you're doing shirts, whatever you think's the perfect, just drop it
Yeah,
down.
then I just go lower than that line.
That
and it
looks
seems
dope.
to work.
It looks good on you. Looks
Awesome.
great.
And I also got, I don't know, but I got one for Brother Adrian, one for Nate Dogg,
Nate
and then
Dogg.
one for Riker. So we got a 6-team stable.
Shit. I can't wait for us to all be wearing
more,
it. And I didn't
obviously.
tell Riker that we were getting one for him.
Oh, good.
So
Well, if he comes down, we can toss it in his little fucking face.
Well,
And then I'll razor's edge him right through this table.
yeah.
well, ladies and gentlemen, we don't even have to go through any type of articles to wait for Cowboys beat because as we're sitting in here talking about our CWO shirts, he's up in the rafters, cucking it like Sting, just looking down on us. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome Cowboys beat back to the show.
What's going on, guys? Whoa, I don't even know what happened there.
Hey!
Ah,
Thank you guys for having me on the show. Obviously, big fan of the platform, and you guys are absolutely hilarious. So, pleasure to be back on the show.
Was
Our
it?
pleasure. Our
Do
pleasure.
I remember correctly? Last time
just
you
moved
came
in.
on, you were just moving in.
Yes.
How have things been in the new place?
Oh, things have been great. I love it. I love
Awesome.
it at my new apartment. So, yeah, definitely. I'm all moved in now, so I can't use that excuse anymore.
Yeah.
No, that's it. You got a full year of that excuse, so you can still use it if you need to. This is perfect, man, because we're right now. You know that we're going through the dog days of summer, not only with the in real life, but also in Cowboys news. Sure, there's been a bunch of splash stuff, but I'm glad to have you on because we can kind of rehash some big stories that have happened in the last few months, and we haven't talked to you since the draft. So we got a lot of questions for you, and we want to hear your opinions on a whole bunch of stuff. So appreciate you coming on, man, and always great to have you on the show.
Absolutely. I love being on this platform.
So I don't know. Did you guys hear? Look, it's open book. It's kind of choose your own adventure.
well, I love it.
What the goal of this cast is just to basically look at what I've been calling the blueprints. And I
Okay.
don't know. I asked ChatGTP, hey, what's a good word? And it said blueprint. But basically, this offseason, from the end of the 2024 season to date, basically, everything that's happened in between, we can touch on, the coach, the draft,
The culture.
Pickens, the offseason. Is there anything that comes to mind? I'll throw it to anyone. You included Cowboys Beat. Who wants to bring up our first topic? Something to just launch us, and then we're gonna figure out the way to segue through it all. Trust me.
Oh, there'll be segues. Well, yeah, you got it. You lead out. If you got something on your noggin.
No, I just think that the most surprising move of the offseason was the Pickens addition. I expected what they did in free agency. I thought they did okay. I thought they did very good in the draft, but I mean, a lot of the picks that they made, it didn't really surprise me because they have a tendency to draft offensive line and defensive end in the first 2 rounds. So, I thought they had a really good draft, but it was the Pickens move to me that I really said, like, whoa, like this kind of feels like a team that's trying to go for it. I just, the one thing that I really just, 2 things I really can't get over is that they need to add a legitimate running back and they need to add another defensive tackle. This roster is just, it's not complete. Like, I was a bigger fan of Rico Dowdle than I think most people out there because I understand the value of Rico Dowdle, and that's just a guy that, hey, when something's blocked up for 4 yards, he'll get you 5 yards. If it's blocked up for 7, he'll get you 8. I think that those type of running backs are valuable because, I don't think you need to have Saquon Barkley to have some great running back. But if you have a running back that's consistently getting what's blocked for him and even a little more, that to me is valuable because I just don't know if you have a guy who can consistently do that on this football team. We think maybe Jadon Blue, but I'm not putting my stock in a 5th round rookie. I'm just not doing it, especially one that had fumbling problems in college. I'm just not doing it. And I mean, Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, they're trying to hype up Miles Sanders in OTAs and minicamp. This running back room just isn't good enough, and there's no way anybody can spin this to me until they get out on the field and we start to see, an actual starting running back come out of this room.
Yeah, I agree. As far as when you go back to the draft, when they didn't re-sign Rico Dowdle, all of us in this room were like, okay, they're going running back top 3 rounds. That was kind of what we figured when they didn't bring Rico Dowdle back. And all 3 of us huge Rico Dowdle fans. He was one of our big prospects that we wanted the Cowboys to retain in free agency. Clearly that didn't happen. And you had mentioned, of course, he's never going to break a long run. I think the Cowboys were dead last in the NFL with a long run of 27 last year. That was the longest rush by the Dallas Cowboys, and it was by Rico Dowdle. So you were never expecting him to break off a home run, but he was consistent, and he broke 1,000 yards without even ever really being given the kind of the go ahead. Like, it took till I think week 12 or 13 until the Cowboys were actually like, okay, maybe this guy has a little bit of skill. But it's interesting that that's one of your biggest takes is you're still kind of worried about the team, not only on offense, but defense for having a position that's not sealed up yet. So I do like that take because a lot of people haven't really been talking much about the running back room. We kind of get rose-colored glasses a little bit as far as the running back room. Like, we haven't been too upset about it, but I completely agree with you when it comes to the defensive tackles.
Yeah, I just now look, this is what I will say. There's people in the draft community that I know who are very, very high on Jay Toya. So, I mean, we'll see what happens there. But at the end of the day, like, this is the thing. The Detroit Lions, I'm sorry about that. The Detroit Lions aren't sitting there saying, hey, let's rely on a 7th round pick. Sorry about that. I need to clear my throat.
Don't you dare.
You need to get a crack in you, brother.
Get a crack in you. Get a drip in you, son.
The Detroit Lions, they don't sit there and say, we're going to rely on a 7th round pick rookie to be even a depth piece. They drafted Tyleik Williams this past year in the 1st round, even though they have Aleem McNeil, even though they have DJ Reader, because they understand the importance of that position. And I just look at the Cowboys and I say, look, you had opportunities to sign defensive tackles that you need, like a Poona Ford type of guy that went to the LA Rams. I'm like, I would have loved to have had that guy on this roster, but I just look at this defensive tackle. I'm like, are we really going to start Mozzie Smith? Is that what we're doing here? Like, this is the thing. This is why I admire Howie Roseman so much, because he saw that Nolan Smith after year 1 was not producing for that football team. So what happened? He went out there and he signed Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff did not work out, but he was a guy that in previous years had good sack production. But you want to know what happened? Instead of Bryce Huff being that guy, Nolan Smith took a leap. He became a much better player. And that's my thing with Mozzie. That's why last year at this time, I was like, no, you need to address this defensive tackle position in a better way than just Linval Joseph. And, you know, if it happens, then it happens. And that's great. And that's awesome. But relying on this guy to be a legitimate starting defensive tackle when he just has not shown to be that, I just think is a flawed way of thinking.
Is he right now starting? Is Mozzie is he our starter?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
that is scary.
I mean,
that is scary. I'll admit that's scary because I have not been on the Mozzie train since day one. None of us have been here, and you kind of hope last year he had some moments, but and again last year was a little bit hard to kind of rank anybody on the team because the team just didn't play very well. Maybe the coaches are seeing something that we're not. That's all. I mean, I believe in 3 years. You get 3 years in the NFL. Unfortunately, banking on that is also kind of scary.
Oh yeah, and ultimately, like, you know, Eberflus, the thing is with him, he more so wants, you know, attacking defensive linemen that get up the field. That is right up Oso Digizua's wheelhouse. And I will say, I do think the linebacker room is going to be really solid this year. I think Leofau is going to take a step forward. I'm a big fan of Jack Sanborn. I think Kenneth Murray is, you know, your third linebacker. He's going to be the fourth linebacker when DeMarvion Overshone comes back. You can't hate that. I mean, I think the room's pretty damn good. But I mean, it's just, I think it's more so about when it comes to run defense, just the defense as a whole. Like, it's easy to just point at Mozzie Smith and say, you need to play better. But, you know, if your problem on your defense when it comes to playing the run is just one defensive tackle, well, then you have a really damn good run defense. If that's your only problem, it's more than that. It's the edges. It's the linebackers, you know, keeping in their run fits. It's the safeties coming downhill. It's the cornerbacks. It's everything. Like, I just think that there are so many flaws with the way they played run defense in the past. Now, granted, I do think that they started to get better at the end of the year last year to where I said, all right, like, there's some real progress here. But just as a whole, I just look at this. I just look at this team at this defense, and I just say, I don't see how they can be a good run defense. I don't think they have the edges for it. You know, you hope Marshawn Nealon continues to develop, but like, they let Chauncey Golston walk, and Chauncey Golston was a pretty damn good defensive end when it came to playing the run. DeMarcus Lawrence is no longer here. I worry big time about this run defense, and it's something that they absolutely need to fix because, you know, that's one of the things, you know, because I think that the Cowboys have one of the best pass rushes in football. Like, I think top 5 easy, maybe even in the top 3. But if teams can run the ball on you, they're just not going to throw the ball, and the strength of your defense just goes away.
The funny thing is, it's been a problem, I think, I would say, for at least the last 2 seasons, and that might even be 3 seasons, where we were worried about that run defense. Maybe not always the defensive line, but just on the defense as a whole. Not having a linebacker, a true Mike linebacker who could be in that position to help if there's a weak, like, the way I look at it, because you laid it out pretty nicely, the way I look at it is, well, if you're going to have a high pressure defensive line that is weak at stopping the football, then we need to support that with a linebacker group that is very strong at running the football. That's very strong at stopping that, right? Because then if they get through that first line, at least we have the second line to stop them for not making big plays.
And not rushing for a first down every time they tote the ball.
Right, but I think for me, the problem has been that the linebackers just never felt fulfilled. It's yet to be determined right now because of the new linebackers we brought in, the new coaching staff that's now in there, which, I mean, if you're a betting person, it depends what you think. Like, how are you feeling? Do you feel lucky that the coaches are going to make that big of a difference in a player like Mozzie Smith, from what we've seen the last 2 years, that suddenly he's going to improve a full percentage point, like a full grade? Or does he play average? Is that what we're looking for? Or is it just Mozzie Smith was never the guy. Not even new coaches are going to be able to help. And if option 2 or 3 on that list I just made is what it is, then yeah, we're going to have a really bad running defense.
And that can make for some long games. If you're having those games where a team gets out ahead of you, that can make for a long day. Those games are hard to watch as Cowboys fans, and I think that's been since we've been doing the show since 2021, and I'd say it's been the Cowboys' problem on defense since then. We never had to worry about turnovers. We never had to really worry about the defensive back end to show up because they were always taking the ball away.
Had a couple great years with some great secondary.
Diggs and then to Bland, like back to back. But there was always that thing. If a team got the lead, they could really start chewing the clock and kind of dominating the line of scrimmage. So that's yet to be seen. And I'd just like to thank you for completely starting this off on me now just wanting to leave.
And think about it like this, right? And this is why, during that 2023 season, I was saying that like Dak was the MVP because everybody knows when you go into a game with the Cowboys, you run the football on them. But when you get to a point where you're trying to play within a structure of an offense, and it's just like, damn, the other team keeps on putting up points. We can't keep running the ball and trying to play this way. We got to start putting up some points here. And then they start trying to throw the ball more. And what happens? That pass rush gets unlocked. That's why I think Dak takes a little too much criticism here because, when the Cowboys win 85 to 90% of the time, Dak had at minimum a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there are very many games that you can look at and say Dak Prescott played average and they won the game, right? Like there's a quarterback in the division where he could play below average and his team still wins 85% of the time. It's just not the case with Dak. Like he has to play well or the Cowboys lose football games. And, I kind of liken it to guys like Herbert and Lamar, where they're kind of the same way. Like if they don't play well, and Josh Allen as well, like if they don't play well, their team loses. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, that's actually a good segue of a question I want to ask you about. AJ, get that in. You crack him. You've got him. Is Ad still in the room? Is Ad still in the room? Where is he? I haven't heard his voice in a minute.
Hey, listen,
where are you?
I'm not gonna interject for the sake of interjecting.
I'm
manning
I cherish the birthday boy's opinion.
I've been having to mute his mic.
Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, it was yesterday, but we're celebrating it today, so I appreciate that, Cowboys beat.
Hey, happy belated birthday.
Thanks, brother.
I've been having to mute his mic. He's been going off on you, Cowboys beat. So I've been muting him here. And that's why you haven't heard him.
Good job. Way to police it.
I thought we were having technical difficulties, but then I realized I'm the one who mans all the technical difficulties, so we couldn't be having technical difficulties.
Well, the Dak Talk's is a nice segue because there was an article that dropped not too long ago on PFF, and they ranked their quarterbacks. And I know it made a huge stir, at least with
about that.
Pardon?
I got a funny story about that.
Okay, so you know what I'm leading out to here. The fact that PFF came out with a list and Dak Prescott was ranked 17th on this PFF list of quarterbacks going into the 2025 season. I just want to know, you obviously have a very high outlook for Dak. I just want to know what you thought about this article, and you can go into that story that you have.
Well, so you guys are going to want to hear this story. When I had my X account, because that is just the most toxic app in the world, I couldn't do it anymore. I tweeted or posted, whatever you want to call it now, X'd at the author of this article, and I was just like, why? Why? And so he started getting into it, and he started bringing up PFF grades. And I said, dude, I don't care about your PFF grades. Normal people do not talk about PFF grades.
Yeah.
Not even just normal people. Nobody talks about PFF grades when they're debating quarterback play. Nobody says, hey, well, this quarterback has a 95 PFF rating and that one has a 92. You want to know why? Because you would get laughed at for doing that. So I told him, I don't really care about your grades. They don't hold any weight in this conversation. We're going back and forth. and the gentleman decided to say that I was just butthurt. And I was like, oh, okay. So now I know you're not serious and that you're just a complete and utter hack. No, but dude, see, here's the thing. I want to know his criteria because I say this all the time about quarterback rankings. Majority of quarterback rankings, I don't care for them. And the reason why I don't care for them is because there is so little consistency when it comes to quarterback rankings, right? Like I made this video earlier. I was talking about this. You know, if the thing holding you back from saying that Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback is playoff success, Lamar's got to get up out of that top 3 if you got him in the top 3 or even in the top 5. Justin Herbert's got to come out of the top 5 wherever you have him. He's got to drop. If that is your criteria, if the standard is the standard, then the standard needs to be the standard. If we're saying playoff success for Dak Prescott, we need to say the same thing about Lamar Jackson. People talk about, oh, well, he got to a conference championship game. The Texans offense put up 3 points that game. I don't think it's a hypothetical to say if you put Dak Prescott in that situation where the Texans put up 3 points offensively, that they probably win that game and get to the AFC championship game. Just hypothetically speaking. And that's my thing. It's just like, there's no consistency with these quarterback lists, which is why I don't take any of them seriously unless I see real legitimate consistency. So, like, for example, right, if people want to say, like, this list has Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback, if you're saying that Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback, your list then needs to be, you know, Patrick Mahomes, because the only reason why he's in your top 5 is because he won a Super Bowl and he has a pretty good record, even though wins aren't a quarterback stat. You would need to say Patrick Mahomes is 1, Jalen Hurts is 2, Matt Stafford is 3, Brock Purdy is 4, Joe Burrow is 5, Jared Goff is 6. You can't live in this world where you have Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback and then have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in the same top 5, because the only reason why you're putting Jalen Hurts in the top 5 to begin with is because he won a Super Bowl. That's
God
it.
Damn it, Cowboys beat you figured me right out.
and that's the thing, right? Like if you're saying that your list is Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Matt Stafford, Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff as your first 6 because they've gotten to conference championships and Super Bowls and won Super Bowls, I don't think anybody's going to take you seriously because that's just an awful list.
Well, the issue with the PFF list was they seemed to give guys that didn't have the greatest seasons last year the benefit of the doubt of having good seasons prior. But then when they got to Dak Prescott, they didn't want to look at 2023 and his second runner-up MVP. So you can't. He used a different rating system per quarterback, which that doesn't work. It doesn't work because we all know in this room and with you on the call that Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback. AJ just pulled up our list, what we ended up doing. You're going to be mad that we have Jalen Hurts in here, but we did have the Super Bowl bias here. But the issue I had, the biggest one, and you were talking about the playoff successes, they have Geno Smith ahead of Dak Prescott.
Yeah, this is our list. Like,
this is our. So we ended up going through and we kind of did it a draft style. So we went. One of us had first pick and we did a snake draft. So it went 1, 2, 3 and then repeat. And this is what we ended up doing. And we ended up having Dak Prescott at 6. And the reason that we had Jalen Hurts ahead of him, I'd say, was because of the Super Bowl success.
It was my pick. Cowboys beat. It was my pick.
Yeah, don't lump me in with Alex on that one.
Because you picked Dak at 6.
Yeah, and you guys were flaming me out.
But then you explained yourself, and we're like, you're right. You're like, would you take any of these other guys right now? And we were like, no, we wouldn't. So you're right. Dak should be at 6.
It's real quick though. On Jalen Hurts being a top 5, it was 100%. We admitted, and I admitted, and I think everyone at least agreed with me, saying that what I was saying was true, in that it was recency. He just won the Super Bowl. He actually had probably one of the best games I've seen Jalen Hurts actually play, or outside of him, not playing against the Cowboys. Don't really watch him play too often. So he played a really good game, and it just changed my mind a little bit about him being an actual quality quarterback in the NFL. Now, definitely we'll see if that continues, but that's just where we were at the point in time. So
No, for sure, for sure. If you guys want some content to go kind of viral with, I got a list for you.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Woo!
All right, so for it to go
I'll
viral,
give-
are you gonna read it naked?
Ah,
No, not today. Not today.
I don't think you guys want to see that.
Okay, well, are you Yep.
So all right, we'll go with my top 10. I got 1, Josh Allen, 2, Patrick Mahomes, 3, Lamar Jackson, 4, Joe Burrow, 5, Matthew Stafford, 6, Justin Herbert, 7, Dak Prescott,
Okay.
8, CJ Stroud. You ready for this at number 9? I'm going to pause real quick.
Pause it.
I got Drake May at 9.
Wow.
I got Drake May at 9. He is not. I don't think there are 9 quarterbacks better than this kid in the NFL now. What he did in New England this year, with the lack of receivers and just the sheer talent that this kid has, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for a long time. I think he's a better quarterback than Jaden Daniels. I would start my team over with Drake May over Jaden Daniels 10 times out of 10. But I do have Jaden Daniels at 10.
You're gonna have to start your alternate to Instagram, the Drake May beat off.
you know,
I'm such a fan, man. He
did play well.
reminds me, and I'm this is gonna sound crazy. He reminds me of a young Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
And what I mean by that is the ability to deliver the ball so effortlessly. It's the flick of the wrist. And his ability to put the ball in certain windows and be off balance and still whip the ball with very good velocity. Now, I don't think he throws the ball with the type of velocity that Aaron Rodgers throws the ball with. And I do think that there's some processing things, that he probably needs to work on to get to that level. But he's an extremely talented young quarterback. And there's just no way I'm taking, like Baker Mayfield or Jordan Love or Brock Purdy over him. I'm taking Drake May over those guys 10 times out of 10.
So
we didn't even have him on our list.
No, it's funny because
Which is fair.
I've not seen him on any list. I have heard maybe it's Bryson from the Carving It Up podcast who talks highly about him. So I have heard other people whose opinion I respect speak well about Drake May. It's just obviously I think a lot of it has to do with the team that he's playing on.
Yeah, success.
Yeah.
And it's recency bias, right?
Well,
and
I fucking kind of hate that about.
Well,
you
because
think
we
about
don't
it-
dive in that deep to really. We watched all the postseason games, but how many New England Patriots games did you guys tune into last year?
At all.
I watched a lot of them because
Yeah, I know you did. We could tell by the
Well, so here's the thing, right?
licking
You
your
know,
lips.
This is the thing, right? So Bryce Young, right? A lot of people say he struggled because the supporting cast. You hear that a lot about young quarterbacks.
Yep.
Where people say like, "Oh, this guy's struggling because the team around him isn't good," which is a fair opinion. I would also say this: Drake May didn't struggle, and his supporting cast is just as bad, if not worse.
Oh
than
yeah,
any of these quarterbacks
it's dog
that
shit.
have bad supporting casts that everybody. I don't know if you would say make excuses, but yeah, this is why me and this guy fought over this. I want to see if I.
Here, let's get Adam. Read this to us. Read us the Drake May New England Patriot PFF.
PFF 22, Drake May, New England Patriots. May went through the expected rookie growing pains, finishing the year with a 64.9 passing grade and more turnover-worthy plays, 16, than big-time throws, 14. He faced one of the league's worst offensive lines and had limited support in the receiving corps. With Mike Vrabel taking over as head coach and upgrades around him, the number 3 overall pick from the 2024 is positioned to take a step forward in year 2.
I thought that was all right.
Like my delivery?
Your delivery was good, but
Thank you.
he kind of says he's expecting him to take a step.
With the young quarterback, what I would always look at is I don't really necessarily care if they are not perfect, obviously. Like you're hoping for a guy to come in nice and polished up and ready to go day one and be that superstar for the next 20 years. But if it's really the things like, do you think they can teach that thing, right? Like, if he's slow, for example, I know that won't matter for quarterback, but let's say your scheme requires a lot of quarterback running, your quarterback slow. You can't really teach him to get a higher speed. You can teach him to be quicker, but you can't really get him to move faster. So that in that type of scenario, yeah, that might not work out. But if it's something like, hey, man, you're just not going through the reads properly, and this is why you're throwing turnover-worthy plays, or something that's something that's very teachable, and the player is able to like grasp onto that. Because we don't know about the quality of coaches, and they might have been relying.
Well, they
on
got fired. They got fired, right? The head coach is gone.
No, well, and even in his college career, he might have come from a great school, but you know, was the quarterback coach that he was working with the best guy for him to get the most out of him, or did he just kind of like float by, doing well enough on his own skill and taking what he could, and you know, getting with a good coach like Vrabel and his team? Is that the step that's going to be like, okay, now you're going from like this 22nd ranked PFF to next year you're ranked number 3? I don't know.
So, Alex, I just sent you something on Instagram. It's the exchange that me and the
bring it up. Bring it. This is we
Oh,
got ourselves some X
Oh.
drama. X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. Gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you.
Well, AJ's pulling that up. I seen Barstool was going around asking people to finish in a DMX song, and none of them could do it because they're all young.
You say you're gonna what?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Well, Chris, like, do you want to read it out, or do you want to get the guys to reenact? Who's playing who? One's Chris, one is John Costco. AJ's John Costco.
I'll be John Costco.
Okay. Oh no, well, Chris is here.
Yeah, Chris, you got to be Chris. You got to play yourself.
Yeah, Chris has to play Chris.
All right, let me see.
You read it for him because he took the time to write it, and me and you
Okay, I gotta get Chris. I gotta get Chris's accent here.
Just come up.
Okay,
just come up. Make your own version of him.
My guy,
people don't know. They're watching TV right now.
My guy, your grades don't hold weight in this conversation we're having. You're talking to an actual person right now. They don't matter to me. Funny how you question other people's ability to read and not read what I said. Played well against.
Oh, you went Lord of the Rings on us for a second.
Yeah, you're going.
I went British for a second there. Sorry, Chris. Why would I say he well against those teams you listed when he didn't? Also, when you are one-dimensional team with limited options in that, now Chris is getting mad.
Yeah.
Also, when you're a one-dimensional team with limited options in the one dimension you stay in, you're not beating it hard, beating the best of the best when that's the case. The Bengals missed the playoffs this year. They were a one-dimensional offense, and Burrow played elite football.
Okay.
Oh, great points. And now John,
very good points. John, so this is the guy. This is the guy that. So this is the guy that wrote the article.
This is the author. Yeah.
The journalist, we should say.
And then look at this next one. Look at this next one.
So he goes, based on your personal opinion, man, against those teams in 2023, you left off the Bills, 49ers, Packers, by the way.
No, you got to say BT Dub.
BT Dub.
Dude, so here's the thing. This was the funniest part about that. The guy I was like, he was saying like, oh, he played well against bad teams. But I'm like, wait, but he actually played well against like 4 or 5 good teams. And he's like, oh, well, you left these teams off. I'm like, well, yeah, why would I say he played well against them? He didn't play well against them. That's every quarterback. Every quarterback.
Yeah.
Like every quarterback plays better against worse football teams.
No shit.
See, this is
totally no doubt.
This is the thing about any sort of ranking system. It's like, sure, if you're looking at just the whole league, all the quarterbacks, and be like, what was the highest rank? Well, it's going to be the best quarterback versus the worst pass defense team.
Yeah.
So let's say that's 100. Okay, what's the worst? Let's say it's I don't know, 60.
Yeah, 65.
Okay? So now that doesn't mean that to be good you need to be 100. It means now you have to look at, well, what's the median or whatever that term is, and then if the median's somewhere around 85, it's like, okay, anything above 85 is above average. 100 is elite, the best, but there's only going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Everything else is going to fall in between there. So, and same with the bottom, right? So, yeah, like this is where those grades don't matter, because like you mentioned, if you looked at a team and let's say Dak Prescott had usually gets 100 PFF rating, but he got an 85 against this team. But then you go and look at all the quarterbacks, and the highest was 93, but the average was like 86, 84, whatever. Yeah. Okay, well then he certainly in that game compared to the rest of the teams that have played outperformed the average. But if you're just looking at, no, we're only looking at what the grade says and then what the grade is, and that's it. You're missing all that context.
Exactly.
So it's
exactly. Go to the next one. This is even funnier.
Let's get it. Okay. Get back.
This-
Hey,
you
get
guys
back
will
here.
like this
Get your
one.
okay. Here we go. Okay, AJ, you're
Look at
starting
what he
off.
said.
AJ, you're starting off. John Costco, go.
Yeah.
You're butthurt about them right now, so you must take them seriously. Otherwise, you just move on with your life.
Oh, I'm butthurt? Dude, you are like, are you like 12 years old?
like Costco. And look,
No, but like, be honest. Like that, journalists don't say that. They don't just say, "Oh, your butt hurt." Like, dude,
Yeah.
what?
I wish he would have just said. It would have been funny, like in his spot. I think it's kind of funny that he said butt hurt. It would have just been funny if he said get fucked.
100% though, because it's funny that you had this exchange, my dude.
The exchange is
because
hilarious.
When we saw this list come out, I think, Anth, you shared it
I was pissed.
in the chat, and we all because I'm going to tell you, we had a long conversation about this in chat and then on the show as well. And I went from, I think I said I could see him being, because of the injury, I could see him realistically being 12 at the lowest.
12,
I think
12
is what
was,
we said.
12 was our floor.
12 was our floor.
That made sense. 12 was like, I could be okay with somebody being 12. The issue was the guys that were ahead of him.
Well, just look at
in the spots 12 to 17 or 12 to 16.
Yeah,
that's what really chapped our asses.
This is what chapped me right up. So you got Dak at 17, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know if I can name 16 other fucking starters. Crack him if you got him in the NFL right now.
No, you can't, dude. There is literally no way you can name. You can't name. I don't think you can name 10 quarterbacks better than him. Like once you start getting into Baker Mayfield and Jordan Love, I'm like, all right.
Well, this is what
it ranked him.
16 was Trevor Lawrence, 15 was Kyler Murray, 14 was CJ Stroud. That's right just there, ridiculous. I'm like,
Dak's better than
blasphemy.
Dak's better than Kyler Murray. CJ Stroud basically has mimicked Dak Prescott's success in year one, and then almost had identical numbers as him in year two.
How is he slumped in his second
better.
year? Which I'm not saying, oh, that means it just like, yeah, that happens. The sophomore slump happens. Now you're year 3. Do you bounce back?
Him at 14 makes sense. Dak behind him doesn't. So the 14 I'm not mad at.
Sure,
the fact that he said, the fact that they had Dak at 17, which is the bottom half of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Exactly. That's what
anything under 16 is under 50%. That's mind-boggling.
So you're
look,
saying
we're getting all fired up. Can you toss me one?
Look, hey, look at Dak's stats last season.
Exactly.
Okay. Look at Dak's stats last season. Okay.
Well, and then also the other thing I think.
Look at his PFF grade.
Yeah, right? I guess you don't look at PFF. I'm Costco.
This is what kind of,
Like
PFF needs
the
some
wholesale place?
Yep, like the wholesale place.
But if, let's say, Dak was playing with a diminished offensive line compared to previous seasons, or just any quarterback, really, doesn't have to be fucking Dak, but like, how much does that come into effect? Hey, if you are, say, the 15th ranked quarterback with stats, with the 32nd ranked offensive line, how much weight does that pull you up, right? Like, shouldn't that make you be, rather than being the 15th ranked with the first pass defense,
like Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, if you are the 15th ranked quarterback with the best offensive line, I think that's more telling than the reverse scenario.
Question real quick here.
Crack him if you got him.
Crack him if you got him. Get it in you, son. But we have to admit, Dak was playing like ass last year. He was, and
it was rough.
Well,
he was not playing well. Like, he wasn't playing well. But you can't take that season into his whole career of
tape, especially not after that 2023 season.
Exactly. Well, after going 3 seasons 12-5 and being a big reason why they went 12-5 in trifecta years. So I that's what I didn't like about the list is a lot of the other quarterbacks got the benefit of doubt from past success. Dak didn't get that at all. He was all what he did last year.
Yeah.
That's what I hated about it.
That inconsistency.
All right, we got to move on to something positive here. We've talked about the PFF, Dak Prescott being 17th, which we all think's bullshit. We talked about like Cowboys beat rolled in here wanting to make me want to go fight Mozzie Smith. But now we got to get
And
into
John Costco.
yeah, and John I'm hunting after this. I'm angry tweeting at John Costco.
I kind of want to just touch on our draft picks real quick. Cowboys beaten well, let's start with Jaden Blue because you brought him at the beginning of the podcast, and I did want to come back to that conversation here about the running backs. I think it's interesting. I really liked both running backs actually that the Dallas Cowboys drafted. I know Jaden Blue's was a fifth rounder. We had him on our big board at the top of the first line. Our first ranked pick, mind you, we didn't have everyone ranked, but on our big board. So to us, he was a steal. Of the fourth round. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way you're talking about, we were going to take him in round 1.
No, our first round pick of the fourth round, our first
Pick
ranked.
in the 4th round.
And so that was a big win for us. I also think that like the depth in this draft class for running backs was a little stronger. So maybe that 5th round is more like a 4th rounder. I don't know if that really makes a big difference. But anyways, long story short, yeah, I think the running back room, we missed out too, like we mentioned. But now it's almost like, hey, let's throw 2 vets and 2 rookies into the mix and see which one comes out on top. I don't know if we're going to see an improvement there, but I do have high hopes for both of these rookies that, it would be really interesting to see if Blue can become some sort of a weapon in how he produces yards for the Cowboys, whether it's catching or running. And I don't know. I guess we're still going to be looking for that bell cow over years here, but also then we can talk about Booker and DEZ. And Chevon Revel, if there's there's really not much that I have to say about.
Yeah, let's just go. Why don't we do this? Why doesn't he just go through each of the picks, like you said?
Yeah.
Start round 1, go to round 7, and just give us a breakdown or what your thoughts. Because I want to hear your outlook on all those guys also.
Let me bring that up.
So, obviously, we start off round 1 with Tyler Booker. To me, I'm going to be honest with you. Tedero McMillan was my favorite prospect in the draft. Tyler Booker, and I have a receipt about this, was my second favorite prospect in the draft.
Really?
I don't see a world in which Tyler Booker isn't a very good player. I think he has very small bust potential. Obviously everybody has bust potential. I just think it's so small with Tyler Booker. I think day 1 he's going to come in and be a very good player for this team. I think he's going to be an all-pro guard for this team. That's just how I think of Tyler Booker. I think the Cowboys made the right pick there. Once McMillan went off the board, Tyler Booker was the guy that they absolutely needed to go with.
Do you think they were going for McMillan?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
if he was,
yeah.
Who wouldn't, I guess?
Yeah. You got to bring it up. Did you guys see the video of Tyler Booker racing?
Shoving
yeah,
the
you got to
kid?
bring that
Yeah,
up. You got to bring that up.
Funny.
I was hoping you were going to spoil it, Ad. Because if
Oh.
AJ hadn't seen it, but AJ, Tyler Booker.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, you saw it too? Okay.
We all follow similar Cowboy accounts, so we must have seen it all.
We must have all seen it. I mean, we don't have to bring it up then if we all seen it. I just thought it was funny, and because we're talking about Tyler Booker. And to me, it's like he doesn't even want to lose to a kid that is this it? Okay.
I'll reset here in a second.
Did you see this, Chris?
Oh, I saw it. That's funny. Look at him moving now. He is freaking moving.
And like shoving
fun.
a kid like that on turf, like the kid's gonna get some turf burn
gives
there
a
for sure.
Like Michael Jordan said, fuck him, kids.
Yeah. No, that's fun. That's fun, and that's a memory. That kid's gonna have a scar on his shoulder from that turf, but it's gonna be a memory.
And
he
you
keeps
know
forever.
what? That push means you beat him. That
Yeah.
push means you beat him. Like,
Hey, look, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I agree.
Okay, but hang on.
It's a fun video though.
So you're
I don't know. I actually think Tyler Booker might have had him without the push.
Without the push,
Yeah.
the push added a little bit
the
of
push is
nastiness.
like just
a little
to-
bit of nastiness.
Sometimes you gotta bite your dog to let him know who's
Crack him if you got
crack
him.
him. You got him. Crack him if you got him. So you were really high on Tyler Booker. That's good to hear because
I like that.
the year previous when we drafted Tyler Guyton was the same feeling that I think we had with Mozzie when we drafted Mozzie Smith, where it's like you just get this fake smile on, like you just had a fight and then it was a surprise. Like you had a fight with your significant other and then the surprise party lights come on and you have to kind of just fake the.
I understood where they were coming from with the Mozzie Smith pick, because like their thinking was, we need somebody that's going to come in and play really good run defense so that our pass rush can be elevated even more. The problem they ran into was that Mozzie Smith, it does not look like he's going to be a very good football player. But, you know, where I will give them grace here is that, like, they got wiped out when they got to their pick. Or they got flat out wiped out when they got to their pick. So I will give them a little grace there, but yeah, not a very good football player, Mozzie Smith.
This is shit on your face, Mozzie. I love it. But okay, so Tyler Booker.
I hope he turns into a great football player.
He's got one more year. In my books, this is the shitter get off the pot. Sure, year 2, you would have loved to see it. This is the year.
And I'll even take him. I mean, pick aside if he's on the roster and just gonna retain a low contract number. I would keep him on the team if he's going to be just a quality depth dude for the rest of his career and never be
seen yet.
Yeah, we got to see it.
He's got one more year.
So
okay, we had Tyler Booker taken at number 12 by the Dallas Cowboys. They on CBS Sports gave him a B-. We're gonna move along now. At number 44. D-Easy, Donovan Ezuraku, edge out of Boston College.
Fuck Boston College.
Fuck Boston College is what we love to say around here. But what did you think about this pick?
I mean, look, in the second round, that's a really damn good pick. I mean, you talk about a guy 17 sacks his final year in college. Yeah, he's one of the most refined pass rushers in the class. He actually might be, just from a refinement standpoint, he might have been the most refined pass rusher in the draft. Obviously, you know, Abdul Carter probably going to be a better pass rusher. So there is that. But when I look at just his hand technique, you know, the way he uses his hands, the bend that he plays with, the ability to play bigger than what he actually is, I think that there are a lot of really good things when it comes to Donovan Ezuraku. I think he's going to be a good player for this football team.
I love the name D-Easy too.
Add him to the rotation. We're now.
Yeah, no doubt.
A weakness last year in the season's starting to look like a strength. Edge rushers is looking pretty juicy.
Oh yeah,
get a bunch of edgelords in there.
Edgelords, yeah, we got our edgelords.
I really want to see Sam Williams come back and continue to impress. You know, he's coming back from an injury, and same with Marshawn Nealon. We never really got a chance to see. I felt good about him, but again, you know, D-Easy might come in here and easily just move right up the depth.
If you see whoever's starting across from Micah or whoever is on those guaranteed pass rushing downs, you know they went through some competition to get there. So that's nice. That's what we love to see.
And then next at their third pick in the draft at number 76, Savon Revel Jr., cornerback from East Carolina.
A+.
from CBS Sports. What do you think about this one there, Cowboys beat?
Oh yeah, that's accurate. A+. I mean, look, here's the thing. You know, the only reason why he was there was because of the injury.
Yep.
And I think he landed with the perfect team because of the team doctor that they have, you know, familiar with Savon Revel. I mean, this is a guy, he could be a top 10 corner in the league. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Not year one. I'm not predicting that for him year one, but, you know, somewhere down the line, he could potentially be a player for this team.
Yeah, love it.
We already know you hate the Jade on Blue.
You hate Jade on Blue.
No, I really do, especially in the 5th round. I really like that pick. My thing with Jade on Blue is I just don't want to rely on him this year.
Yeah.
I just don't want to rely on a 5th round pick rookie. Like teams that are trying to win a Super Bowl very rarely do that and the reason why I say very rarely is because there's going to be somebody in the comments section. Let me see if I can find this.
Yeah, there always are.
It better not be fucking Costco or whatever the hell his name was.
Well, the Chiefs won a Super Bowl with Isaiah Pacheco, so.
What was
What,
that?
what the fuck was that?
That's Cowboys beats. He put a voice activator on his
Dude,
thing.
I thought we were watching Poltergeist for a
I
second.
thought there was a weird
That's like
digital error.
That's like the chick from Poltergeist. You
Yeah.
remember that little weird looking chick?
Oh,
weird
yeah.
lady.
That sounded like Poltergeist lady.
Go into the
the
TV.
Take off the weed.
Dude, I got it all here, man. Dude, this shit is hilarious. I got all. Let me see if I can find this. There was this time where I was in like a really heated debate, and this guy started like getting personal with me. So I was just like,
Shut up, bitch.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
That's the Rock's always a good one to
Dude.
go do.
This is something we'll be working on as our a soundboard. So, you know, I love to chat with a fellow soundboard lover.
I do agree with Chris here though, that Jaden Blue, and it's unfair to expect a lot from a 5th round pick. A lot of times you look at a lot of teams, 5th round running backs don't even make the fucking squad. So to expect him to have a lot of contribution, we've done it together. We've went around and kind of predicted his stats together. And I think we've been realistic with it. I think we've been realistic with it.
I think Jaden Blue's going to play a nice. What I think would be ideal for me was that he maybe starts 3rd, moves up to 2nd on the depth, finishes strong, or he's like kind of in that 2B 2A kind of role. But yeah, like I don't expect him to be that 3-bell cow for us, but I do want to see, just give me, I don't know, 3 to 5 moments throughout the season where it's like, holy shit, Jaden Blue did that.
We have something.
Yeah, we have something, like whether it be a deep pass or he just has an efficient run. And maybe
He
that.
will.
Yeah.
he will.
So
You know,
he's
my
fast.
thing is,
Yeah.
when it comes to Jadon Blue, you know, this is why I'd love to have Rico Dowdle, because I just think that they would have been a perfect complement
Totally.
to each other.
For sure.
Now we'll see what happens, you know, because it's not just Blue, but maybe Maffa could if you know Blue isn't the guy for you, maybe Maffa could potentially be that guy. You just never know.
Well, and Maffa went later on because of his again injuries from his.
Well, we can
his
look
season.
at we can look at Maffa here too. Yeah, he was Maffa, but he's a big body guy, and we could, you know, potentially, if it works out how you can in video games and force guys to be superstars, we could have the 1-2 punch or the 1-2-3 punch, I should say, with Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa.
Would be nice.
You know, that would be primo. I don't think it's going to happen, but if one of those guys shows up to be better than average for the next 5 years,
It's a win.
that's a win with these picks. One thing I do want to hit on, though, guys, real quick is we just breezed past Siobhan Revel, but I want to ask, what's your confidence in our cornerback room with or without Revel? Because Revel, I think he's going to probably not be available, or if he is going to be available, he's going to be coming back slow at the beginning of the season. So we're not really going to see him probably until, I don't know, the 4th week maybe,
Yeah,
or later.
3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah. Because I have an answer, but if you
I would say,
yeah, go ahead.
you know, obviously they're not fully healthy. Fully healthy, I'd say like B+. But the way it is now, I'm at a D+. To be honest with you.
I honestly think it's like one of my most, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, so I want to like air that grievance here. But I think when you think about, you know, the reality is Diggs wants to come back. He may not even hit the field, and then when he does hit the field, are we just looking back at whatever year it was when Diggs had his 11 interception and expecting it? I think that ship has personally sailed. And then when you look at Diggs as a coverage corner, how much confidence do you have in him as that? And I'll just leave that there. Bland, I think, on the other hand, has an opportunity to be long-term with the Cowboys. I don't care. I mean, it'd be great if he continues to score touchdowns, but I'm more happy with just how he plays, at least for the most recent like evaluation of a Dallas Cowboys cornerback. He's been very good on his coverage. And other than that, though, I mean, Khair Elam, I'm looking forward to him hopefully coming in there. And I would honestly much prefer that he takes the position and doesn't allow Diggs to get back on the field, just out of purely being that if he does so, he must be a very good cornerback, right? And then where does Revel fit in that conversation? I think he just comes in and plays. And what we're looking for by the end of the season with Revel is to be like, okay, is he able to kind of get the baton passed from Bland to him and maybe do something exceptional in his kind of first full year as a cornerback, whether that be, I don't know, picks, tackles, forced fumbles, doing something where it's like, do we get that kind of the next guy to show up on the cornerback market for the Dallas Cowboys? But to me, it is a scary position for us, and we need a lot of things to come to fall into place for it to be for us to feel as confident as we have been in the past with those positions.
Well, if you can't stop the run, you can't stop the pass.
Yeah,
you're gonna be fucked. It's gonna be a long year defensively.
It does seem like the Cowboys this year, out of all years, with a lot of these one-year deals, you got a lot of players who are you're in a prove-it year, right? So you look at Sanders, Javonte Williams, George Pickens, Kyer Elam, Sanborn. You got a lot of these guys who maybe had some sort of talents before they were drafted or put on teams, and now they're on this like bought year by the Cowboys. And then you get Schottenheimer, who comes in here, who's trying to inspire people. I mean, it could work very, very well for the Cowboys this season, or it could go the exact opposite.
And you got Jerry pulling his pud, just looking at you the whole time.
But I mean, like, it just seems like that's the story on all these positions. There's just these guys who are there in their prove it year. Oh, hey, we're here on a one-year deal. They're going to prove it. They're in a contract year. They're going to prove it. Oh, they were on these other teams, and now they had shades of that when they were there. Prove it. Even down to Jonathan Mingo when we brought him in. So it is.
Hey, get him now. Pay him for the season. Don't expect anything, and then just wait till next year. That's like it's a wild thought.
As Law Nation calls him, Mingo.
Jonathan Mingo.
He cracks me up because he did the whole James Washington thing, and he would always be like, "Where's the James Washington?" And dude, that shit cracked me up, man.
He's got a good personality there.
Wow, yeah.
Very nice voice.
I always remember we were walking out of the training camp last year, and I don't know, this is how I remember, it might not be true, but then I remember just hearing his voice because they were filming up on the stands or the bleachers, or maybe we were on the bleachers actually. But anyways, I heard his voice and it was so like
distinctive.
Yeah, it was like just cut through everything. Like, oh, I know that. Who is that?
Show me them. Show me it. You brought up a question about the cornerbacks, Alex. What about the in terms of running backs? So we talked about Jadon Blue. Would you, and you talked about this at the top of the show. Cordon Bleu. But you talked about this at the top of the show, putting a lot of faith in a fifth rounder is not the right way to go about it. And looking at Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams isn't what a Super Bowl winning team should be. Do you see the Cowboys trading for a guy like Breece Hall, or in your would you want any other running back that could potentially be available that we should make a run at in order with this running back room of guys, make some trades, see if we can dangle it a little bit if these guys aren't going to be. I can't see the Cowboys doing that, but are there other prospects? I'm asking Chris, not you. I don't give. I don't give shit about you.
The whole time you're asking the question, I'm thinking Adam's asking me this, and I knew it wasn't true. I knew it wasn't true.
I was asking our guest.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna make any additions at the running back position. No. Breece Hall would be interesting. I mean, he definitely would be, but it kind of falls into the whole thing. Like, is the name bigger than what the player actually is at the current moment? You kind of walk into that with Breece Hall, in my personal opinion.
And is Breece Hall just another version, give or take, of Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders? Like, these guys are all, in my opinion, like, I would say out of those three guys, I'd rather have Breece Hall just because, but I don't know that he's gonna be the running back where you're like, oh, we need to sign this guy for a second. They're all rentals.
Stopgaps.
Stopgaps. Yeah,
just stopgaps.
Band-Aids.
They're
Which you
essentially
need though. You need those
They're-
guys. You need quality guys like
They're
that.
essentially what Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders are. They're the stopgaps to hoping that they struck gold with Jadon Blue or Phil Maffa. That's all it is.
Running backs.
They're hoping that they strike gold with these
running
guys.
backs are the most maybe
Plug and
besides
play?
fullbacks. There's not enough fullbacks, but running backs are the most bitched position, treated like a bitch in
Oh, yeah.
the NFL. Like, shut the fuck up. Get to the back of the line, you fucking thousand yard, 10 touchdown rusher.
It is.
Fuck you. Get
Well,
out of my
look,
face.
And you know how you
Go
can,
to another team.
You know how you can prove that? You look at the Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, not to their extensions, but when they got signed by the Ravens and the Eagles, for what those guys got signed for and what they did for their teams.
Oh,
it's like peanuts, man.
yeah.
Fucking peanuts.
Yeah.
Compared to like receivers or edge rushers, like what those guys do and get paid for it very well. Running backs, like you said, is the bitch position. It's like, no, if you don't want to sign for us, we'll draft someone in the fifth round, right? So,
Is there anyone else on the list here that you'd like to speak on their Cowboys beat? Otherwise, I got
I thought you were asking me
two
for a
more
second.
quick things for us to. I do care what you have to say, Adam, but you're second.
Thank you.
You're ranked number two.
So, but before, because I do got to wake up for work tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I
Debatable.
definitely do want to hit one more thing here with Jay Toya. When I watched him, very active, quick for his size, plays the run well. That UCLA linebacker that got drafted at the top of the second round, he looked better because he played next to Jay Toya. Like, it was noticeable.
Schwessinger or whatever.
Carson Schwessinger, yeah. So I think there's a chance that this guy could be a really good player for the Cowboys. There's a chance. Not saying it's going to happen, but I think there's a chance because of the fact that he is so active with his hands. He has very powerful hands. I think he anchors pretty well. But the problem is he's just not a guy that's going to play with much range. And when you're in an NFL nowadays where, teams want to do that outside zone stuff, it could potentially be a problem for him.
Well, look, he's in the position where to me, it feels like the door's a little bit left open to be like, hey, anyone want to come in? Anyone want to come in? And
He's never squeezed through a door in his life, but he has a chance. Crack him if you got him to squeeze through this
he has
one.
a chance now.
Hey, Cowboys beat before, because we want to respect. You got to get to bed. You're a sleepy guy,
And you need 8 hours of sleep. We won't.
we know
won't-
that.
We know you need 8 hours of sleep.
We've hacked into your Apple Watch, and we know you need that eight hours and 6 minutes.
No.
exactly of sleep.
Cowboys beat. I bet are you an Android guy?
No. I actually have 2 iPhones.
Oh, nice. Okay, there we go,
So,
baby.
so you're bragging about being a drug dealer.
Yes. Oh, I see. Hey.
No, I got something that I'm working on. It's really, really, really big. I got something. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Offline.
After the show,
Oh,
but I'm
yes.
working on something very, very, very big
Oh, I like that.
that I'm gonna announce next month. So it's big. It's gonna be a really big deal.
Sick.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait to hear
Now
about
I need to rush the show.
Now I'm
here.
like half chubbed.
I
over
just
here.
want to get last two things just to get your opinion. We don't have to.
Yeah,
go-
speed
dive
blitz
in.
him. Speed blitz him.
Speed blitz him, and then I have a question for him before he goes.
Well, let's mix
well,
all
speed-
three.
so
We'll mix
speed
our
blitz
three.
it.
So
Okay.
my two
Okay, go.
are Brian Schottenheimer. I want your thoughts on Brian Schottenheimer and the staff he's brought with him to Dallas, and then also the Micah Parsons contract situation. Maybe there's
there we
nothing
go.
you have to say, but just want to pick your brain there.
Yeah. Brian Schottenheimer, very impressed with everything he's been doing so far. At the end of the day, this is going to come down to wins and losses. Everything seems great at the current moment, and I think they are. I think Brian Schottenheimer is going to be a really, really good coach for this football team. He exudes confidence. I think he has a legitimate plan of attack. I think he understands the power of deference. And what I mean by that is, I know those two words don't really go hand in hand, but it's completely fine to say, hey, I'm struggling with how to block up this play action. Clayton Adams, how do you think we should do this? Or, hey, I want to start doing some of these runs that we see LA and San Francisco do. How do they block that up? How do they, consistently have so much success running these type of plays? I'm not saying these are the questions he's asking, but I'm just saying it definitely seems like there is some deference to somebody who is clearly an expert in the offensive line field. So I really like the staff they hired. I really like what I'm hearing from Brian Schottenheimer so far. And, it's all going to come down in the wins and losses. When it comes to Micah Parsons, it's business as usual. When it comes to the Cowboys, it's absolutely a joke that they're going to wait this one out. It makes absolutely no sense. If they would have signed Dak in 2023 instead of 24, probably would have gotten him for $55 million. If you would have signed CeeDee Lamb in 2023, you probably would have got him for $30 million. And if you would have signed Micah Parsons last year, you would have gotten him for $35 million a year. They are losing money hand over fist by waiting to pay these guys. It doesn't make business sense. It doesn't make football business sense. And the longer they draw this thing out, the more it's going to cost them, and the more they're just going to continue to shoot themselves in the foot instead of get an actual good deal for the player.
Yeah, and all three of those guys you named, because I can understand waiting for some players being like, we just need to see one more year. But all three of the names, Dak, Lamb, and Parsons, we don't need another year.
They were all going to be on the team. Ad, ask your question.
Okay, so we, as Canadians, college football is not baked into our DNA. So last season we did the playoffs. Did all the college. We streamed all the college playoffs. Did some really good damage in terms of our live streams. We started to play a lot of college football. I'm a Go Blue Michigan Wolverines fan. Ant's over there. I know, a Notre Dame fan. And Alex is a free agent, so you need to give your best pitch, being a Buckeye boy, to try to get Alex to the Buckeyes. Why should he be an Ohio State Buckeye fan? Because we're trying to recruit him hard. He hasn't pledged an allegiance.
I got to pledge within the next 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah,
or we hit you with bars of soap.
That's right.
So give him your pitch, and you can't say, "Well, we won the Natty last season."
Damn it! You read my mind.
Recruit him.
Because I almost think that saying you won the Natty is almost
given.
Yeah, like boom.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. You should root for it's kind of hard to give a great pitch. I mean, you should root for the Ohio State Buckeyes because of the brand that we have, the players that come through the program, the tradition that we have. We are the Ohio State, not Ohio State. We are the Ohio State. Buckeye Grove, where, players go into Buckeye Grove if they were an All-American. It's actually funny. I'm like the worst person to ask about this because how I became an Ohio State Buckeye fan was, I think it was in the 3rd grade. We were in the courtyard for our school. I went to a Catholic school, and a group of kids were asking me. They were like, "Who do you want to win, Ohio State or Michigan?" I'm like, "I want Ohio State to win." And so I just started rooting for Ohio State then.
So you were fucking one split decision from being Go Blue with Adam.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't like to think of it like that, but maybe.
In an alternate universe, you and Adam are going to the big house watching a Michigan Wolverine game.
Kissing in the stand. Kissing in the stand.
And I'm only a Michigan Wolverine fan because when I went to Big Chris's place from the Cowboy Up podcast, half of his room is Cowboys, half his room, and I'm like, hey, I guess I'm a Michigan guy.
Well, you want to know what's funny? Me and him go back and forth about college football all the time. The person that I go back and forth with about college football more than anybody, I don't know if I'm sure you guys, he was on the show before. Rue from Allow Me to Butt in Sports. We go back, when I tell you, you guys would pay to hear our debates. Like, we really go at it when it comes to college football. And every single time he tries to big up Texas, I say, "Hey, what happened on January 11th?" I was like, "What happened? I don't know." Like,
and he goes,
"What was the score to the game on January 11th?" And he's like, "Oh, that was last year. You're living the past." I'm like, "How?"
Yeah.
Like, the new season hasn't even started.
Yeah, and plus January 11th is 2025.
Technically.
is it not? I mean, technically.
Technically.
I'm coming from a layman, so.
Technically. Cowboys Beat, we appreciated having you on, man. Where can people find you on all your platforms, my guy?
You can find me Cowboys Beat on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and soon to be. I'll save that for another time.
So I gotta say, if you don't follow Cowboys Beat on any type of platform, you need to go ahead and you need to go fuck yourself. Oh, look at